Ready? Okay, the time, like I said, it's 4. Welcome to today's city budget workshop. Boy, we estimated about an hour and a half.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and to those that didn't see your mirror being a hero yesterday, go to Facebook and you'll see as I rescued Patco. Okay, what do we have?
Rescued what?
Risking my life to save a drowning goat. Alright, what do we have?
All right, Mayor, we're gonna discuss some of the departments in the general fund, and we've got them listed before you. We've got engineering, traffic, parks, police, and IT. But before we do that, there was some questions last week on certain things. They were pretty general, so we think we can pass them out, and then once you look at them, if you've got questions about it, we can discuss them. But one of them was the breakdown of cultural and recreation. You asked for that. That actually went in the Friday packet, but we wanted to make sure that if there was questions about that, or if there was other information that if you were looking for, we can bring it back. But that's the way that expense side of the ledger looks like on the culture and recreation. Go ahead.
I'll study.
All right, the second thing that was asked for was the breakdown of the ARPA funding projects. We call it Infrastructure and Improvement Fund, but it is the ARPA funds. And we've gone through some of them. As you know, there was a lot of planning and studying, and then at some point, design of these projects. So it's been, it's taken us a little bit to ramp up, but we think that by next fiscal year, we're gonna have these finished. And this is the breakdown that the city commission voted on. Now, it doesn't mean we can't change them unless we've already embarked in design, but this is the breakdown that you requested. And then lastly, you wanna do that? You had a question on HOT, on the hotel occupancy tax. How, not so much how it works, we talked about that, but the limitations placed on by the state on how much you can tax and what it takes to increase that tax if there's anything you can do. So the city attorney's office put this these 2 pages together, and I would urge you to go through it, and then at a future meeting or today, if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer. And then there was one last thing that we'll bring at the next meeting. That was the schedule of debt service. We have it, but we have it in 2 different formats. I want to make sure that we've got it right. And then we've got not only the total outstanding debt, which is about, what is that one? Well, not only do we have the total outstanding debt, but we have the debt service on every one of them. We've got about $109 million of outstanding debt. And we'll bring that back to you at the next meeting, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Okay? Otherwise, we're ready to go with engineering. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to review this proposed budget and our request. We appreciate the opportunity to discuss our plans and goals. Our team here, I have Marlene and Mario. Marlene is the traffic director. Our team has worked in close collaboration with the city manager and his staff, as well as the Office of Budget and Management, to craft this budget proposal and reflect both our immediate and long-term goals. Our aim is to ensure that these goals align with your objectives and effectively address priorities of the community. We look forward to feedback and any questions that you may have. Before I go into the engineering budget, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, in general, this general budget that we're reviewing today helps design and inspect and construction projects. Currently, we have 100 projects over 100 projects in varying size and complexity that are being designed during construction. Not accounting for Honduras and the queue, there's still an additional $100 million of capital expenditures that engineering has a direct or indirect role. This year alone, 41 projects will be completed, and 23 are in construction. The remaining are in design. Again, as we go through this, we look forward to your feedback. If you go through our line item, I think your first page is going to be the baseline for engineering. We did request a position that was funded by the city manager, and we think, or we appreciate, his recommendation. This position is gonna be used to, do record keeping, so we do a lot of federal and grant work. Julie has done a great job of securing funds for it, but all of that work creates additional paperwork and bookkeeping that we need, so that position was funded. I think we appreciate that consideration. Beyond that, there's just some small line items that we asked for. Certification for our ADA manager, who sits on the ADA board with Jenny and provides this guidance to that board. A software increase. Another item that we think is gonna be beneficial to our department is we asked for a drone that can do topographic survey. We think that could save us some money. We have some ideas where we can go through some existing canals and get some topo on that and get some better data as to what our canals are doing, so we appreciate that consideration there. Other than that, it's just rollovers for vehicles, just kind of standard things that, the general depreciation for vehicles is needed. The other stuff is minor clerical stuff, scanners, files. Beyond that, for engineering, there wasn't a lot of requests. We don't have any questions that we may have.
That survey drone, the LiDAR, okay, it does have the LiDAR
Yes, sir.
capabilities with it?
It's the drone with the LiDAR attached to that.
Yeah.
The code we got for that.
And do you have an operator that can operate it?
We have 3 licensed pilots,
Okay.
currently in the department, and then MPU has a licensed pilot as well, so if we ever have, people who leave or anything, we have some redundancy there to help fly that one.
So this is for the city, so the PUB can use that also, and us and everyone.
Yes, sir, we do share that equipment with you.
That's the best investment you're gonna make.
Thank you. The other departments that we have, and I have my right, Lynn here to kind of go over her budget, is the traffic operations budget. As you know, Marlene is the director there, so I'll pass it over to Marlene. Let her go through that budget.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners. For the traffic portion of the budget, we've successfully completed the traffic bond in the last couple of years, the installing of cabinets, the signal timing study, as well as the working through the fiber monies with IT and how we can best allocate it. Those monies have been spent, and the next big project is Vision Zero. And some of these requests kind of go in line with that. Audible peds that we're asking for the budget and being given for, that's for the downtown area, all along Business 83, that's gonna help provide pedestrians that, just safety, infrastructure to be able to safely cross the intersection. With audible peds, they can also listen to the beeping sound when they're trying to cross, so that they're aware of, hey, it's time to cross, it's safe time, it's a safe time to cross. Radar detection advises anyone in Havana, we're having a lot of issues there because of the railroad tracks and detection and maintaining the routes. So that's one of our requests. In addition to some school flashers, one of the things that we have with school flashers is we have some online and some connected to our fiber or our Wi-Fi, but then there's some that are not, and so the ones that are not, we're trying to get them online so that if a school calls and says, hey, they're not working, we can try to figure out remotely if we can fix it, if not, we'll go out there in the field like we're doing for now. With the signal lighting on downtown signals, this was a project that we completed this past fiscal year. We successfully completed the installation of the signals, but one thing that we noticed is that the lighting was a little bit, it wasn't as bright as we would have liked it to have been. So we got a quote from the vendor to get lighting to illuminate the intersections even more at night, especially because of the downtown district. Those lights provide, those signals provide lighting to pedestrians going from one place to another, the parking garage, and other areas, as well as some signal pole colors for signs in the downtown area, stop signs, mostly stop signs that we have, or any pedestrian signs, so they can look, a little bit nicer and kind of match with what we've done with the downtown signals, which they look great. We've gotten a lot of great feedback. So we wanna make sure that, we're also not leaving the signs kind of behind and making them look good. Another,
I just wanna add to that sign, so, Evita had introduced Marlene to those covers on the signs. It's part of, while it's not funded through the McAllen Shrines, it is part of, Evita said this would look good. It's something to consider, so Marlene put that in the budget, to kind of decorate some of those signs and make them look nice. Just wanted to add that.
we've done it around City Hall, you'll see a lot of our signs, yield signs, pedestrian signs, stop signs.
Yeah.
They have that nice black cover.
Yeah.
The good thing about those, if somebody crashes into them or damages them, they're easily replaceable. So we like to do that to, make an investment in downtown and make sure that all that infrastructure in line with the signals that we just made. Aside from that, that's all the traffic department is asking for. I can entertain any questions that y'all have. We're getting everything we need, but if there's any questions.
Do I address the lighting with you? The lighting as in
Yes.
the new light. The major thoroughfares, there's still a 10th, Business 83, 23rd Street, 2nd Street, the major thoroughfares, right? Nolana, okay. Some of them still have the yellow lights, I'll just say yellow lights still, okay? And I know that we have a program that we're looking at all the neighborhoods and everything, and we are getting feedback, some that like it, some that don't, moving it. You have been very, very good at responding, I will tell you that. Very good. You go back, you look at it, and I think we're getting the word out that, but one of the things is that it's taken a long time for AEP or Magic Valley to conduct these changeovers or lighting. But the major thoroughfares, if we could work on that and put that as somewhat of try to do a priority on those major, like, I know that Business 83 right there and on 17th Street and all that, whatever, well, you're saying that there's, you're working on it and lighting it up. Well, I think Business 83 in that area is still yellow lights there. And, there's a lot of traffic going in to and through that area. So if foot traffic is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if you could work on those thoroughfares and maybe try to jumpstart those.
Commissioner, I
enlighten
guess the
it.
question is, do we need more funding to expedite that or to look
Well,
at that?
one is more funding, but two is they're having problems with AEP and Magic Valley of actually having time to do it. Because don't they have to go re-engineered through them or something like that?
Yeah.
See, but that's gonna be Roy and you all, everybody else working on that, correct?
So let me
Yeah,
give you a little
look at
update. Marlene has gone out and AEP has changed leadership. They have a new CEO, the president out there. Marlene has gone out and told them they are dedicating additional staff. They brought in some staff from Laredo to do some engineering and get those expedited on the revamping of the neighborhood. And so, we kind of discussed with Marlene a little bit about the new roadways. And, I think there's a way to accomplish that, but I think we need to get with management to figure that out, because if we take them off the goal of doing those neighborhoods that we have set as a priority, that'll take away some of their resources that they're allocating to that and getting sure that we spend those dollars that we've already allocated to it. I think if there's certain corridors that need to be addressed, if they go to management, I think we can look at those and then try to address those specifically and manage that a little smaller. Right now, the task of accomplishing all the neighborhoods, it's a big task. Traffic is on that. We're making sure we're trying to address that as soon as possible with their management for that.
I realize it's a big task, and you don't have, it's out of your control, some of these things. You're in a wait situation, many times. But, like I said, it's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some years. But, I know the major thoroughfares sometimes just, it looks dark out there.
Question on just engineering personnel in general. I think I've asked before, so as far as staffing levels, do you
So
have enough staff for?
I think, we do have a lot of projects. I think the staff we have, how we're managing those contracts, we figured a way to work through that and make it manageable.
Okay.
Right now, our workload, we pushed, as I said, 44 projects are getting, that's taking a big burden off us and move on and get the rest of that done. And so I think right now, between me, Mario, and Marlene, we figured out a way to manage those dollars and get that construction out in a timely fashion. So right now, I think we're doing okay. If we ever felt the need, we'd come back and address that.
Sounds good.
Okay, any other questions regarding, and so you all are pretty much good with what y'all requested and everything?
Yep.
Yes, sir, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Who's next? Parks.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Thank you for having us here today. First off, I would like to thank Roy, Angie, and the Budget Committee for reviewing and going over. I think this year we had got 95% of what we requested to assist us in our department moving forward. So very excited, and we just want to thank Roy for his recommendations on that level. As you know, the Parks and Recreation oversees 8 different divisions under here, and so we can go and start with the first one and just move down the lines. If you have any questions at any time, please ask for those. So the first one will be 5102, that's Parks Administration. Basically here, we just ask for $920 for an increase in the fees there for the Disability Board, which meets on a quarterly basis to provide lunch for that board. All right, that was basically it for the 5102. If we go into 5104, as you can see here, we requested, and this is probably going to be the majority of what we request. This is the Parks Division, yes, sir.
Address it as what department it is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't have numbers.
We don't have the numbers.
Okay,
So
so
it's parks.
Parks. So this one will be Parks.
Next tab.
General fund.
Yes.
Yes. So here,
26.
it's new positions, trades helpers. We ask for certification pay, standby pay, and then some increases in the general other service and charges lines. As you can see that we were approved of those, and so. Any questions? Pretty much everything in the capital outlay request, what we asked, we received, and so very, very happy there to get some of this equipment into our fleet. The vehicles there was a blessing as well, and so just excited to get that as requested. And of course, if you go to non-capital outlay, everything there that we requested, the small equipment items, was requested and received as well.
So total, hold on a second. Yeah, let's see it. Department request 577,873. That's a total,
Department request, yes, sir.
and then city manager recommendation 226.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what were y'all looking for that was not recommended by city manager?
So that one was basically your vehicles. So if you go down, we've got 3 out of 6 vehicles there. So that was the majority of the bulk of the request was vehicles. And so we got 3 out of 6 there, which will definitely help us out a lot.
Sounds good.
And then the forklift and the mechanic lift is coming
Do
from.
we need 6 or we can do with a 3?
Say that again, sir?
Do we need 6 or we can do with a 3 and then give the others a little bit more years to, you know, increase, I guess increase depreciation? Do we still have enough equipment to do what we need to do?
Yes, sir.
Provide the same level of services to the
We
community?
do, yes, sir. So three out of the 6 is more than what, you know,
Okay.
it was a blessing. So, again, we are able to make it work with what we have. Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Okay, the next one, 5106, which would be recreation. On this one, we asked for an increase for a car lounge for one of our marketing administrator position, and then an increase in $25,000 for the outdoor recreation program. And that was recommended by city manager. If you look at non-capital items, we requested 3 commercial 20 by 20 tents. That was recommended as well. And that's all that was requested in 5106. Or, I'm sorry, recreation. If we go down to the next tab, which would be pools, aquatics. There, we did ask for a position for an aquatic supervisor, and city manager did recommend that we get that next fiscal year. And so along with that comes the equipment for them, the computer, an increase in clothing and uniform. That was an increase in work boots because the vendor went up in their prices. So that's across the board for all of our divisions. And then you see their electricity costs. We also requested pool strainers for Los Encinos pool. And city manager recommended that we get that to replace the existing pumps that we have there. And then you'll see the computer there for the new position.
So we don't have any deferred maintenance on the pools that we need to take care of? I know in the past, we've had to do some major improvements to some of the pools.
So we did request pool replaster out of a parking zone funds for this fiscal year for Los Casinos. A couple years ago, we redid Muni, the pool plaster there. We do have a maintenance line for aquatics and in parks that could help offset some of those maintenance costs there. We'll come back. We are having issues with the pumps there at Los Encinos, and that's something that I'll have to present to Mr. Betta and Roy for an emergency purchase, which will cost about $20,000.
Okay.
On top of that. But in the meantime, yes, we do have line items that can cover the maintenance cost if we need to get that covered.
The pool at the Brand Center, have we made the repairs that we needed to make there?
From staff has told me, everything there is up to speed and running. We did get some insurance funds that we are also recouping to do some fixing there. At all our pools, at some of our facilities as well, from the storm that happened last April. And so we just got access to those funds, so we will be doing some improvements as well. But
So there is going to be some work done.
yes, sir. So small repairs like the fence line, the chlorinator building with the roofing on top of that will be fixed as well. As far as boys pool goes, no major issues that have been brought up to us. So it seems pretty good.
What about the hours that we're keeping? Are we restraining because we don't have enough personnel or monies for it?
No, sir. We have plenty of positions available. It's just getting those positions filled.
That's what I hear, that
Yes, sir.
They apply and then they don't show up.
They'll apply and they go to another city. And we did a study a couple of years ago where we did do a pay increase for our lifeguards, from junior lifeguards to our coordinators and cashiers. We have seen an increase in the past year and a half, but we're nowhere near the levels that we used to be before COVID. But we're working on that. We're doing a marketing ploy to attract lifeguards. We're working with schools to see if they would want to send people over to get certified as lifeguards. We're on social media, we go out to school outings to promote. So we're doing the marketing ploy as far as trying to attract those lifeguards to the city.
And are you using our network to, in other words, our MCN? Are you using it to promote?
We have put out to MCN, we do work with, or we've gone out to STC, we've gone out to UTRGV. So what we're doing right now, Commissioner, is not eliminating any of the programs that we offer through aquatics. We might reduce them, but we won't eliminate the number of programmings that we're offering there. So we still want to offer rentals, we still want to offer aerobics, lap swim, programming, as with staffing that we currently have right now.
Well, see, again, as staffing is a problem, right? And when you budget for all of these, all these employees, but many of them are not filled. So the money's there. So you should have excess money if you're not spending it on
Seasonal.
the seasonal.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Right.
So there is a savings there, yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I don't want the savings. I want
To
to
be
open
filled,
more
correct.
hours, and I want our aquatics. We all get calls, okay, and there are times that we are closed, and I know it's because what I hear is that it's hard to find the lifeguards to everything else. So. Yeah, we just have to keep trying to improve.
Yes, sir, and we'll take a look at the fall programming and schedule it coming up, but again, like I said, it should still be going with just a reduced number of programmings that we are offering. And not
Okay.
completely eliminating one over another.
Okay.
The next one would be Las Palmas Community Center. Here again, clothing and uniform for increase in the contractor's fee for the boots. We did request another 15 unit ton condenser, which was recommended. The 30 ton was an emergency purchase this fiscal year, which is coming at the end of this month, delivered to get installed before this fiscal year is over. I believe that was it for that division. Lark Community Center, the only thing they requested here was a new gas stove. As you can see, the original, the one we're replacing is an original one that was there built when the facility was built. And so city manager recommended that one as well. And then padded chairs, which we use for rentals, everyday use there at the community centers. Palmview Community Center would be next. This one here, they requested 2 volleyball sets, which was recommended. And so that will go help with regular programming and volleyball leagues that we host there on a yearly basis.
Dennis, did they request flooring?
Flooring is
Jim?
coming from the insurance, and so we took that one off because we knew we were getting funding from the insurance company. We just recently submitted those quotes in. We'll see what they come back with. That's for both Lark and Palm.
Thank you, Dennis.
And how are the air conditioners doing?
They are working great. We've had some warranty issues with the ones at Lark, which the company came back out today to take a look at that. And then just installed the humidity for the Lark library. So we should be up and running there. Palmview, it's been consistent at 50% humidity, which is where we needed to be at the 72, 71 degree thermostat.
We're getting calls on that Lark.
Yes, sir.
You know,
So that one
air
was just
conditioning
recently
problem.
installed, and then last week we just found out that one of the AC units that was installed is collecting water, storing water. And so we had them out there today taking a look at that.
It's a big problem. I mean, this is the heat.
Correct, yes, sir. And then the last division is building maintenance. Here, we asked it for a position, a journeyman electrician, which was recommended. And then the cargo van, recommended, and so excited just to get that for that division. As you know, they do a lot of work orders. We do over 800 work orders on a yearly basis, and so that would definitely help them, the position and the vehicle, to get the job. And that's all I have. Do you have any other further questions that I may answer?
Anybody?
We'll discuss it with Roy. I'm trying to do more.
Yeah, no, a lot of things are not budgetary, they're more operational, so we'll
Correct.
discuss, we'll get with Roy, wherever we need to get to. Cause yeah, they're more operational than budget, so thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What do we have?
Next is police.
I know you got paper in front of you, I'm gonna pass a couple more sheets of paper that should help us get through this a little bit more efficiently. Thank you.
Here you go.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, thank you for the opportunity to speak here today about our budget for this coming next fiscal period, that is. We understand the difficulty of the budget process, and for those reasons, we thank the city manager and the staff for their work thus far to get us to where we're at today. By the time that we reach this point, we have combed through our budget proposals a couple of times, and today we're entertaining what is considered the city manager's recommended budget for the police department as a result of that process. In total, the department's budget this year increased by $1,799,337, and that's the number at the bottom here, and that's a comparison between what is recommended now and last year's adjusted budget. All the lines that are highlighted in yellow represent where an increase occurred. The lines in blue indicate where there was a decrease, and I will explain those. So the full, or 81.4% of the increase, that is 81.4% of the 1.7 million, is in the compensation and benefits area of the budget. And that is a result of contractual agreements that we have from a collective bargaining process, 5% pay increase, some buyback of vacation time from our personnel. Those two account for 1.4 million, and therefore about 81.5% of the increase is encumbered there. In the supplies area of our budget, we have no increase. In the other services and charges area of our budget, if you'll notice, we have a negative decrease of $82,613, and that's a result of the operation of the depreciation fund. We are this year we're appropriating 12 units opposed to last year, so the cost of the appropriation fund is less, and that is established by Public Works. Going forward from the maintenance line items, after that represents an increase of $259,313, and that increase effectively is encumbered in the following areas. We are asking for computer software increase about $24,376. Facilities, which is the biggest area of the increase, is $115,280. The facilities cost is the maintenance cost. Our building's at a 23 year age point already. I would say to you that the bulk of our cost in the most recent years has been something you've already been talking about, air conditioning. Heavy cost for us. We've got 14 units in operation in one building, that is, at the McAllen Public Safety Building. Now, we've spent a lot of money over the years keeping those running. In the last year, 11 of those 14 are being replaced. Currently, we're in the installation process of the last unit, that is unit number 11. So there's hope that maybe next year we won't have such a big cost on the maintenance side of the equation due to air conditioning. So our cost in recent years that is attributable to the increase in the maintenance request is air conditioning repairs. We spend a lot of money replacing air units, replacing parts,
You don't have a chiller in the back?
No, sir.
No, so it's all units?
It's all units. In my understanding at one time that building was designed for a chiller system. And then we changed forces in the middle of the process. And we went to a different system, a Freon system. And we ended up with 14 units across that building that keep that building operating. So that's where our cost increases in the maintenance area of the facilities maintenance, 115,000. Fuel lubricants, this is a cost that is established again by Public Works. We've increased that by 119,857. That's basically the cost of fuel, the operation of fuel costs across the environment. As it, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. We're going up this year as far as fuel costs is concerned. Again, that is a number that is established by Public Works. Now, capital outlay, we increased that amount in the next area by $84,301. I would say that of that $348,000, $245,000 of that is something that we budget every year to pay the contract for the radio system that we bought. I think it's about 9 years now. I think we may be at our 10th year coming up next year or something like that. So every year, the PD cost of that contract has been around $245,000. So of that $348,000 that we're asking for in capital there, $245,000 of that is for the radio system payment, and we've been budgeting that here every year the last handful of years. That's about 70% of the capital outlay in that area. The remaining $98,000, that's for computer hardware, and we're doing two significant upgrades to our systems. One we call the NICE, or the NICE upgrade, which is basically our recording system for telecom in our building, and our CompassCom, which is our GPS system that we have in operation at our building. Those two account for the $98,000 in system upgrades that we've asked in this budget and recommended by the city manager. The non-capital outlay, we've got $138,000 that we've asked for in there, approved by or recommended by the city manager. Those are all the items we've requested. Everything that we've requested in our budget that is of non-capital improvements type was recommended by the city manager. There is nothing that we've asked for in our regular budget request that's not in here. Our focus this year is going to be on two projects. One that we've already kind of laid the groundwork for in a workshop with you, and that is the development and design of a firearm shooting facility. And then the other is a smaller project, and we're going to address that with you all next week in the CIP request. That's going to be a redevelopment of an area that we have created under the parking garage for evidence storage. We've got about 4,500 of usable space in there, and we're trying to make all the improvements necessary to that area so we can use it for evidence storage. The improvements are environmental, make sure that we've got air systems, dry systems in there, and that we seal it from any kind of rain and stuff like that. But structurally, that piece of the project was developed with that in mind whenever we built the parking garage several years ago. We're at that point now where we need evidence storage, and we've got that. We just need to convert it. And so our focus this year is going to be on those two projects, and we'll address those with you next week, hopefully with the CIP request. One is design, which I think Roy is of the mind and to recommend as well that we do the design next year of the firearms shooting facility. And the other is $450,000 we're looking for construction. We are in the design phase. We've already funded the design phase of that for that evidence storage area. So by next year we'll be ready to build a small project. So that's where our focus is this year. I will entertain any questions.
You'll get back to us on the CIP project.
Yes, sir. We the city manager scheduled, I think, that meeting with you all next week, and we will address those to you from our department standpoint next week.
In terms of personnel, I think it was a couple years ago that we got a special grant, right, for, was it 16
Yes, sir.
officers or
Yes,
so? And that was for, what, a 2-year period, if I remember?
So that is, we were approved 15 police officer positions. With a 75%, 25% local match for the
Okay.
cost of those officers. We've got 5 years in which to use that particular grant. Right now, we are at 42.8%. That is the 15 officers for 36 months of pay for them. That equates to 540 months. Thus far, we've expended 231 of those 540 months. So that is, we're 42.8% of the way.